family-owned Ford business, locally owned for over 35 years. Your friend in the Ford business.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280, Alex City. Your Ford giant in East Central Alabama and your friends in the Ford business.
Sportz Blitz Live. Sportz Blitz Live is on the air. News, scores, predictions. Sportz Blitz Live with your host, Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, and Randy Lee. Call 800-782-0108. Auburn.
45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back.
Alabama.
38 pounds and 80 yards.
And the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sportz Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Good Tuesday evening to everyone, and welcome into Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson want to tell everybody out there Happy New Year as we head into the new year, the first Sportz Blitz Live show of 2015, Luke, and been on the air going into our 8th season now. So I tell you, it is amazing how quickly time has flown, but all of you out there have enabled us to be on the air, all of you that have called and watched over the years, and we really appreciate it. Wherever you're listening, on your radio dial, 95.9 or 97.5, or on the World Wide Web out there, of course, Charter Communications Channel 80 throughout the state of Alabama, and Charter Channel 3 right here in the Lake Martin area, Luke. And a lot to talk about tonight. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock, as always, taking your calls. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. The bowl season has come to close, minus obviously the national championship game. Luke, we're going to talk a lot about that game and a lot about how the playoffs went. Obviously, Florida State got demolished. Alabama lost a close game in the Sugar Bowl to Ohio State. I don't think any of us really gave Ohio State near the credit that they deserved heading into that game. So they came out with a chip on their shoulder and had a lot to prove. Auburn looked disinterested in the Outback Bowl, looked kind of like Alabama in the Sugar Bowl last year. It looked like they really wanted to be there. It was made mention of on the broadcast several times that there was a ton more energy on the Wisconsin side than the Auburn side, and it kind of looked like that on the field as well. Some coaching changes continue to happen at Auburn as Auburn lands Travaris Robinson, the defensive back coach from Florida. He'll be coming to join Will Muschamp over at Auburn, former Auburn defensive back, former All-SEC defensive back at Auburn. So a ton going on. The SEC East goes 5-0. Who would have thought that?
Well, let's also be real about that. The SEC East didn't exactly face Murderers Row.
That's true. That's true.
The SEC West certainly had
a lot tougher schedule.
Slate. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But when you look at things, and certainly we'll get into the Alabama and the Auburn games. But the game that surprised me as much as any was the LSU Notre Dame game.
Sure.
Not necessarily that Notre Dame won. If Notre Dame had won and LSU had played like they had for the latter part of the season, I would have said, okay, I get that. What bothered me about it, especially if I were an LSU fan, was the fact that Leonard Fournette was running over everything, everybody, all the time, and you give him the ball. I want to say he carried it 11 times. It may have been 12, but it was not much higher than that if it were. And he also returned a kickoff for a touchdown, about 100 yards. That guy showed us exactly what we had been looking for all year long out of him. Now, Nick Chubb, I think, at Georgia, probably was the better freshman running back this year, but Fournette may surpass him next year. Of course, the big story is Alabama, and they're losing. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think Ohio State was flat better. I was talking about it with a friend right before the show that I think if those two teams played 10 times, Alabama may struggle to win 5 times. I mean, I think going in, we would have thought Alabama would win all 10. But Cardale Jones, in my opinion, the quarterback, he certainly showed out. He exposed some Alabama's defensive backfield even more. I think Cardale Jones is better than Blake Sims. I think he's better than Nick Marshall. I think he may be better than any quarterback in the SEC. I thought maybe the Wisconsin game was a fluke. Maybe that the fact that Ohio State got out to such a big lead against Wisconsin allowed him to calm down. Quite frankly, I don't think it was any fluke at all. I think Cardale Jones is a special quarterback. They happen to have another quarterback that's very special in J.T. Barnett. They happen to have another one in Braxton Miller who may be transferring. The big rumor right now is to LSU. Ohio State's got it going on right now, and I think we got to give them a lot of credit. Brett, they've gone 12 and are they 13 and 1 right now?
13 and 1,
yep. They went 12 and 2 last year. They ended up losing to Michigan State.
Which allowed Auburn, which gave Auburn the opportunity to play in the game.
But this team is that close to have, if they were on probation 2 years ago when they went undefeated. So they could have been in the national championship.
They have one of the better runs going on right now in college football.
They have a fabulous run going on right now. I don't care what conference they're in. It's been pretty awesome. I think we got to give them some credit.
They've been able to recruit and get the players they need. They are definitely the class of the Big Ten, minus the slip up against Michigan State last year, and of course the snafu at home against Virginia Tech. But that seems an eternity away. Well, that's what I don't know. It just blows my mind watching how Virginia Tech played coming down the stretch. But I don't think I've ever seen in college football a case where a team lost 2 quarterbacks and the third guy comes in and is equally better, if not equally as good, if not better, than Brett. Now, I know Braxton Miller and J.T. Barrett have a little bit more skills as far as maneuverability and quickness in the open field, but Cardale Jones has something they don't have, and that's unbelievable size. And he runs pretty doggone good. All I heard going into the game is this guy's concrete foot, and he can't move. Well, he is what kept third downs going for Ohio State in that Sugar Bowl game. And, I thought there for a minute, and we'll just continue to talk about this Sugar Bowl game since we're on it. Alabama had Ohio State right where they wanted them. They had them pinned inside their own 5-yard line. Ohio State was really nervous to do anything, so they were just holding on to the ball. They had to punt out of the end zone. One of the worst punts I've ever seen. It went to the 23-yard line. Alabama was in prime position with down 6 points to have a field goal in their back pocket. And I know a lot of Alabama people out there go, well, the way we've kicked field goals over the last few years, we don't have anything in our back pocket. But seriously, you're inside the 25-yard line. You got a huge running back in Derrick Henry, who I know Alabama doesn't have very much luck in the Superdome, but Derrick Henry does. It seems like he has coming out party in there, and he only touched it. Talking about only giving it to Fournette 11 times, he only touched it 13 times and had 95 yards. Lane Kiffin got cute in the game. I don't think you can say it any other way. He got cute in the game. He took possessions away from Alabama. They didn't feed Derrick Henry enough, and I think that's the storyline of the game.
I think it was certainly one of them. Now, everybody keeps using that term, got cute on that particular play. And I think that play would have been okay for any other team in the country, quite frankly, except Alabama, because we know Blake Sims is limited in those particular mid-range throws. And we were on about the 21, 22-yard line, and that's not his throw. He can throw it deep very, very well, and he can throw a wide receiver screen pretty well. So those are his throws. Don't make him throw something that's intermediate, and that was an intermediate pass. At the time, Alabama had Ohio State on their heels, and instead they gave all the momentum back. Yeah, Alabama got the ball back and all these other things, but that was your window.
Well, I agree.
That was the move. And I think any other team in the country, if you go play action, I nod my head and I agree with it because I think you do catch them off guard. But in that particular moment, I hand the ball off to Derrick Henry or T.J. Yeldon for that matter. He was not having a bad game. He was just injured.
I just think that, when you have a running, and I think that's probably what Nick Saban had been saying, Alabama won football games this year, but they didn't really win them, I think, the way Nick Saban would have liked to have won them. But I also think, in retrospect, you can't blame everything on Lane Kiffin because Blake Sims was the quarterback he was because of Lane Kiffin. So, look, things kind of even themselves out, and you can't blame it all on one play. But I think if Nick Saban had it to go over again, Lane Kiffin would be too. You look back there and go, I'm going to hand it to him, and good luck. I think Auburn screwed up in overtime. I thought those were 3 terrible play calls on Auburn's behalf, and you can't blame Daniel Carlson for being put in the situation he was to kick a 45-yard field goal to send it to double overtime. I think you hand the ball off to Cameron Artis-Payne. I don't think any Auburn fan would have been discontent to run to Cameron Artis-Payne 3 times right there and at least get some positive yards out of it. And if you have to kick a field goal from that distance, then that's fine. But a throwback pass to the quarterback where there's 5 guys standing over there to the short side of the field,
you got to appreciate the irony a little bit here that it was the defense probably that hurt Alabama, and specifically the defensive backfield in the Sugar Bowl, and it was the play calling, which Gus Malzahn has been just heralded for and had all this praise lauded on him. And his play calling, it went
downhill.
Awful. I mean, towards the end of the season. Now, does that mean no, but I think you're right. I think you said it key earlier. Things have a way of evening out. And I think, everything that went Auburn's way the previous season kind of came back down to earth and may have actually gone the other way a little bit this season. Things just find a way to get where they're supposed to be in the middle. And I think this Alabama team ended up, now that we can look back on the SEC season, and while the SEC West was getting all this applause, I think we overlooked the fact that, okay, maybe we're giving them too much credit here, and the SEC West may not be quite what we thought it was. The SEC as a whole probably wasn't quite what it was, and that's why in the paper today I wrote about, look, Alabama fans, you can be disappointed. I understand. I wanted to go to Dallas too. I had my flights, I had my hotels, I was ready to rock. But we didn't go, and now that we can look back, and let's be honest about this isn't a national championship caliber team. In fact, I could make the case this was Saban's second worst team. If you ranked all his teams from 2007 to right now, I'd put 2007 dead last, and I'd put this one probably next. And this team ended up winning an SEC title despite that fact. So, be happy. You got a Biletnikoff winner. You've got a punter that may look 11 years old, but that guy
who cares?
From here to over yonder.
Yes.
I hadn't seen a punter like that at Alabama.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Alabama's team tends to me struggle in special teams a lot. Auburn last year with Stephen Clark. He saved Auburn so many times. I know A.J. McCarron threw a 99-yard pass, but Stephen Clark time after time pinned Alabama inside the 5-yard line and made it real difficult for them to drive the field. This year, Auburn had trouble kicking the football, punting the football. Alabama was right the opposite. They maybe had the best punter in college football. I think it may have been a farce he didn't win the Ray Guy Award. But Luke, we're going to go to break. When we come back, I think a game every one of us enjoyed watching was the Oregon-Florida State game. And we found out today a little bit that Jameis Winston may be coming back. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw
really
say that. I'd be shocked.
Said Florida State officials had contacted the NFL and said that looks like he may. I don't know. We'll see. It's a circus at Florida State.
Why would you leave though? You've got. You can do anything you want to. You've already proven that. You're not going to get in trouble for anything.
That's
all
true.
the crab legs you can eat. Why would you go anywhere?
Exactly. Got it made. Braxton Miller, the rumor was that he would leave Ohio State and end up at Florida State. Jameis Winston stays. That's out. So what does Ohio State do with 3 unbelievable quarterbacks? They're not all going to stay up there. So that's more to talk about, too. We want to hear from you. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. More to come here on Sports Blitz Live right after this.
On Tap is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com. Advanced Heating and Air is East Central Alabama's certified train comfort specialist. That means the pros at Advanced make you the focus with superior service on all brands, 24-hour availability, and in most cases, same-day response. Advanced Heating and Air is exclusive with Train Heating and Air products that deliver the longest reliability and great energy efficiency with an amazing 0% 60-month financing package on all new Train products. The best service contacts in the region, and all pricing is upfront so you have no surprises. Advanced Heating and Air, where your comfort is our #1 concern.
Lake Winds Golf Course, the most affordable, quality round of golf in Central Alabama. Located right off Highway 280 on County Road 40 in Alexander City, Lake Winds Golf Course offers affordable memberships, an updated pro shop, junior golf program, annual tournaments, and weekly matches. Call for your tee time today, 256-825-9860. Lake Winds Golf Course.
DHK Tire and Lube in Dadeville has everything your car needs to keep you rolling. Tires, oil changes, brakes, and most mechanic work. DHK Tire and Lube can have you in and out in no time without busting your budget. Conveniently located at 321 East South Street in Dadeville, DHK Tire and Lube is a locally owned and operated company that keeps you and your car's best interest at heart. Stop by today or call 256-307-7276. That's DHK Tire and Lube in Dadeville.
Lake Martin Washington Details, 734 on Airport Drive here in Alexander City. Phone number 256-749-6351. Remember now, they do offer gift certificates. They can do just a regular wash or a complete detail. They go that extra mile, and of course they use quality Alabama Auto Magic products. They're family owned and operated. Again, give David a call. They'll be happy to pick up and deliver that vehicle right back to your job site too. The good folks there at Lake Martin Wash and Detail.
Do you need some extra Christmas cash or want a little extra money to start the new year? Onin Staffing is the place to go to help you find that perfect job. We have 25 immediate openings for local shipping and receiving jobs. Computer skills and packing or shipping experience is a plus, but not necessary. Stay local and work with people that make your career fun and exciting. We offer full benefits the day you sign up, so apply in person at our Alexander City office on Cherokee Road or at our Opelika office across from the Lee County Justice Center. Onin Staffing. Our business is people.
Let us help you today. Give us a call at Onin Staffing.
What better way to start the new year than by saving a ton of money on a new set of tires at S&S Discount Tire Pros? S&S Discount Tire Pros offers great tire brands like Bridgestone and Firestone. All tires and service are backed by their nationwide warranty, including free roadside assistance with every purchase. Bring in the new year at S&S Discount Tire Pros, located in Alexander City and Dadeville, or visit online at snsdiscounttirepros.com. With savings like that, you'll be ahead all year.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson here with you till 9 o'clock, taking your calls, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464 to be part of the program. We've got some guests on tonight, Luke, so looking forward to that. Excited about that. So excited a lot about what we've been talking about with the bowls, and not a lot of excitement for Alabama and Auburn fans per se, but the excitement for the way some of the games turned out, especially the Rose Bowl game with Florida State and Oregon. How many people were waiting around or had been waiting for Florida State to get their comeuppance, and they finally did with Oregon. I mean, Oregon right now looks unstoppable.
Please, Justin, find the clip of Jameis Winston falling backwards with that ball falling out of his hands and all that. That was
unbelievable.
I mean, I was with about 18 other family members, and everybody went crazy. And we have no skin in the game. I mean, we didn't care one way or the other, Oregon, Florida State. At the time, we were thinking, Alabama is going to win, so we want Alabama to play Florida State just so we can beat Winston. That's what everybody was thinking. It didn't turn out that way. But that's what everybody was looking at. But when he started faltering, when things started falling apart, man, it felt good.
How quick did the little altercation between Jimbo Fisher and Jameis Winston, how it didn't take long for it to go viral, and everybody, it was all over Twitter, it was all over Facebook, the comment, and you could read his lips. You could be the worst lip reader in the world, and you could have read those lips. And it was, it was a culmination, it was a microcosm of their whole relationship at Florida State.
It was, again, seeing, now, are you talking about when Winston really went off on Fisher? Because he did that too. Winston went off on Fisher at one point in the game, very late in the game. And I remember looking at some other folks, and we were thinking, I don't know how many coaches in America would put up with what we just saw. Because Fisher wasn't even talking. He was looking straight ahead. He looked like the player, and Winston looked like the coach. And, granted, look, sometimes coaches can overstep their bounds or whatever. I think Fisher has gone out of his way all year long, for the last 2 years even, to defend Jameis Winston. And if Jameis Winston has one guy that's on his side, it's Jimbo Fisher. And so for him to really jump onto him like that just blew me away. It was a bizarre.
He has created that monster.
He has, and what's so crazy about it, Brett, is Florida State is still recruiting at an unbelievable level. Now, might at some point the program get pretty far out of control in terms of inmates running the asylum? I don't know, but Florida State, I watched that Under Armour All-American game and the Army All-American game the other day. Every other guy was an Alabama guy or a Florida State guy. Everybody. I mean, and Florida State had the quarterback that Auburn was after for quite some time, and he was throwing it all over the place to a guy named Campbell and to some other wide receivers. They're all going to Florida State. So we can make fun of it. We can be mad about it. We can do all these things. But what they're doing is bringing a bunch of horses into that stable.
Yeah.
So I don't think Florida State's going anywhere anytime soon. Whether or not Winston comes back is completely
I mean, to me, I don't, I really thought that was all smoke and mirrors. Everybody was just talk. I mean, there's legit talk that he might come back. And he's got a couple, he got 2 or 3 more days to decide? When's the deadline on that?
I thought he's going to decide after the national championship game.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe so. Well, he'll be watching it because he won't be playing in it. That's for sure.
Well, I joked about it before the break, but what possible incentive could you have for coming back? You're going to be a top 5 pick. I mean, we may not like it. Everybody may want Karma to jump in and say he's going to be falling to the second round. That ain't happening. He's too big, his arm's too good, and he's won too much. He's going to be a top 5 pick. Now that we can all deal with that, what on earth would bring him back to school? He's already won a national championship, and he's already won a Heisman, and the whole college football world outside of Tallahassee can't stand him. So why would you come back?
All right, that's my point. I don't know why you would. So it's going to be another. I think it's more attention just to draw to him, and he's used to that, and that's what that's what he wants. He wants somebody to be watching him and following him all the time and everything that he does. So he has been. Florida State has had a great 2-year run. I mean, and the sideshow that is Jameis Winston has distracted that from Florida State fans and everybody else, and they've grown into be the most hated team in college football. It's just the simple fact of it. 1-800-782-0108, 254-6464. We will have Drew Champlin on with AL.com. He covers Alabama and recruiting and some other things for AL.com. You'll have him on next, Luke, to talk about some recruiting because Alabama obviously lands Darren Payne. They also land a big recruit out of Texas, Auburn.
Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll talk about the state of Alabama as a whole and what some of these guys are going to be doing because this is full alt recruiting season now. The official visit weeks are coming up for a lot of teams and for a lot of guys. And each university tends to have one big weekend. It seems like they bring most of their top guys in that they want. So I know for Auburn it's the 16th and 17th. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Also at 8 o'clock, we'll have Cameron Blankenship on, former UAB offensive lineman, now signed with South Alabama. Looking forward to having him on the program, Luke, and talking to him as he heads to South for his senior season of college football. I think he'll be a tremendous pickup there for South Alabama. So looking forward to having him on. And here's the play we've been waiting on. How that to me summed up his career right there this season. How does the ball? He throw? It's almost like he throws it backwards.
Well, it is almost like that. But here's the thing. I know I'm not alone here, that even with that, I thought somehow, some way, with their luck, the Oregon player was going to drop it and Winston was going to come back and pick it up and somehow illegally throw it forward for a 75-yard touchdown. I mean, just the way things have panned out for that guy, pretty amazing that Oregon was able to do this. But we could kind of see this coming, right? I mean, I said it about 2 or 3 months ago, that Florida State is begging for somebody to beat them. And once it was, the coffin was nailed shut, there was already dirt put on top of it, then things got even more out of hand because you could see they didn't know how to deal with this. I mean, it's been, to their credit, it's been 29 games since somebody's done this to them. So, again,
And hasn't happened to Jameis Winston.
It hadn't happened.
Not as a starter. So.
Not as a starter at Florida State. So, I mean, we can dislike him. I think most of us do. We can wonder, should we pull for this guy ever under any circumstance? All those things. In the end, the guy can win, and he's big, and he's got a cannon for an arm, and he's deadly accurate. He's going to be drafted very highly.
1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464 to be part. Sportz Blitz Live, we'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear a comment from you on this bowl season, how you thought it played out. College basketball is well underway. Conference play started tonight. Kentucky actually trailing at halftime there to Ole Miss, believe it or not. So I'm not too worried that they're not going to come back in that game, but just kind of
stay tuned.
Odd that Ole Miss up at half.
Well, I'll tell you, right now, Kentucky's up 55-53.
And it was 38-36 at half.
And here's probably what's bad. I mean, they're one conference team somewhere on the road may slip up and get Kentucky if half their team falls asleep. Now, if they just have a tight game like this,
everybody's watching.
Now Kentucky's probably going to be fired up for every game from here on out. This is probably the worst thing that can happen to everybody else in the SEC.
Probably right. We're going to take a break. When we come back again, Drew Champlin will be on the phone with us. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
Straight talk from Hyundai of Auburn.
There are a lot of great cars to choose from. The Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, and the Hyundai Sonata. But which one's the only one with a 5-star frontal crash rating? Sonata. Best fuel economy? Sonata. Highest performance and design rating? Sonata. Built locally? Sonata. Has America's best warranty? Sonata. And cost the least? Sonata. Surprised? Compare. If you choose another brand, just tell us no. But you probably will say yes. Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Don't you know there's no clean like Peaches and Clean?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
Let me be all-time quarterback. Okay. Whoa! Calvin Johnson!
What's up, guys?
Is that the new game day filet sandwich?
Sure is.
You want to fill the ball around?
Sure, why not? Oh, yeah. Gotta love a trick play.
Introducing the new Game Day Filet Sandwich Meal. A crispy chicken breast filet with just the right amount of kick on a lightly toasted bun. Served with crinkle fries and a small Coca-Cola Freestyle drink. Only at Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City has delivered new Fords for 35 years. Need fuel efficiency with style? See the best selection of 13 Ford Fusions delivering 38 MPG in a new stylish package. Check out the Hybrid C Max crossover now on the lot, offering roomy comfort with an amazing 47 MPG, rating highway and city.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to welcome you to our dealership and experience our low-pressure sales. With non-commissioned salespeople, our sales force is here to serve you.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford, Highway 280, Alex City. If we don't have it, we'll get it, guaranteed.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with you here. And I want to welcome in a special guest from AL.com, a guy who covers all things Alabama for AL.com, and that's Drew Champlin. Drew, how are you tonight?
Hey, good, Luke. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for being with us. I know you were at Coleman Coliseum right now as Alabama is about to take on Texas A&M. It's 2 9-3 teams going head-to-head. This is a pretty big game to start off the SEC season.
Yeah, and you look at both teams statistically, they're around the same in a lot of categories. Their RPI is around the same, between 50 and 55 or something like that. So, if you look at the SEC, Kentucky's head and shoulders above everybody else more than likely, even though, as I say this, they're struggling with Ole Miss. But, there's a lot of teams that are trying to get into that next tier and try to sneak into the NCAA tournament. And, you win a game like this, and it gives you a little bit more league credibility. Losing is not the end of the world, but it's certainly definitely a game that both teams want to open up with a win.
Sure. Let's stay with this basketball team just for a minute. We'll get into some football recruiting and football talk in a second. But with the SEC season kicking off, I thought maybe we'd talk a little Alabama hoops. And Michael Kessens is a guy who's come around. That's a transfer from Longwood, and he comes in this season with some high expectations, but it takes him a little while, I think, to get his feet under him. But now I think he's had back-to-back double-doubles. He's looked pretty good.
Yeah, he had an injury. He's been battling an injury that kept him out of a lot of practice time. So, Alabama needs a guy who can score down low. They've got Jimmy Taylor, who's really good defensively. He's not much of a scorer, though. Shannon Hale's got some size. He's kind of more of a perimeter guy, though. Kessens is really their best scoring threat down low. So they're going to need him. I think he's had 2 double-doubles pretty recently. So he's going to have to give him some consistent production in the post because he's a really good player, but he's going to have to give him that night in and night out for Alabama to be competitive in the SEC.
Once again, we're talking to Drew Champlin on the Walton Firm hotline here on Sports Blitz Live. And Rhett Obasahan, that's a guy that's kind of hard to figure out right now. I expected some big things out of him this season, but he's had sort of an up-and-down year so far.
Yeah, and he was a guy who was also injured coming off of surgery in the summer. I think it was some kind of foot or ankle surgery. You look at him, he's probably in a better role now than he was last year. Last year he was counted on to play a lot and score a lot. He's not really much of an offensive guy. He can score a lot of fast break buckets, but he's kind of an energy guy who, he's got some good hops and he can beat up some point guards. But what I kind of wonder is maybe this is a guy who takes up some backup point guard minutes because he's, Justin Coleman's been pretty good, but Obasahan does have the body, to match up with some of these SEC guards well. So don't really expect him to be a big scorer, but if he can be a good defender and energy guy, that's definitely what Alabama needs.
How about some of your thoughts on the league in general coming into conference play so far? The SEC takes its lumps on the basketball side for all the praise it gets on the football side. What are your thoughts on the SEC, and what are your thoughts about Anthony Grant and his tenure?
I haven't had a chance to watch a whole lot of SEC basketball, but just looking at the numbers, everybody knows about Kentucky, but, I think Georgia's got a chance to be pretty good. Georgia and Arkansas, who are playing right now, they're probably 2 of the next best teams. I saw LSU play UAB a few weeks back, and they've got some pretty good size, and their guard play was okay. But South Carolina had a nice win against Iowa State pretty recently. So those are some of the teams you look at. Ole Miss is going to be tough to beat at home, and Florida's down compared to last year, but Florida's got plenty of talent. So it's going to start to sort itself out. Probably by the midpoint, I think you'll know who's really good and who's not. As far as Grant goes, there's not a whole lot of optimism just because of last year, but they've won 10 so far. They'll probably get that to 13 pretty early in the SEC play. I don't know if they're going to be able to make the tournament unless they can upset Kentucky or beat all those other teams I just mentioned and not have any bad losses. But they're a better team than they were last year. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get them into the tournament, because you got to have all these key non-conference wins. And while they didn't have any embarrassing losses, that Wichita State game where they blew the lead late is going to come down and haunt them in the end.
All right, Drew, let's move over to football, specifically football recruiting. Alabama secured 2 huge commitments last Thursday when they got Kendall Sheffield and Darren Payne. Those 2 guys 5-star by most accounts, and they're looking for another one in Damian Harris this upcoming week. What can you tell us about all three of them?
Yeah, Kendall Sheffield's an elite cornerback. He's friends with some of those Texas guys in Alabama's roster like Tony Brown and Maury Smith, so I think that played a big role. He's also a track star, so I'm sure that also sold him on coming to Alabama. So, Alabama's got a lot of 5-star young cornerbacks in the roster that are going to be battling for playing time. Even though they're going to have the 2 starters, Cyrus Jones and Eddie Jackson, coming back, and Bradley Sill, who really was one of the unsung heroes in the Iron Bowl. So, and then you look at Deron Payne's a big defensive tackle in state. Some people think he's a top prospect. So, it's good to get him for for the prestige numbers or something. But he's also a pretty good player. And then, Damian Harris, they're looking for that elite back in this class. They've got Bo Scarborough in now, and they've got Desharius Flowers from Vier committed and enrolled. Really want another running back. You can never have too many of those guys. And I think Alabama's trending pretty highly for him. It's going to be tough to get him out of his home state of Kentucky, though, I think.
Well, Drew, have fun tonight at the basketball game. I hope that all things come up well for Crimson Tide tonight, and maybe they can open up the SEC season with a win.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That was Drew Champlin from AL.com. Want to thank him so much for being with us. He does a fantastic job covering all things Alabama. Go check him out, AL.com. That was Drew Champlin on the Walton Firm Hotline. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes CertaPro different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
We work from a personalized written certainty pledge.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and our home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers.
Schedule your free estimate at columbus-auburn.certapro.com.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430, and visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop, guaranteed.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Colville Electronics, your local Radio Shack dealer, has all the latest technology that Santa is looking for. iPads and tablet PCs are the newest technologies available for dads. Moms can't resist the latest iPod Touch, GPS, and e-readers. For the teens, we have the latest in prepaid phones with Blackberries and Android-powered touchscreen HTCs. With the area's largest RC car and helicopter collection, we are sure to have what your son or daughter is asking for. That's Colville Electronics, your local Radio Shack dealer at 988 Cherokee Road, Alexander City.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, both homeowners and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson on with you till 9 o'clock. Call us, give us a call, and talk to us about anything that you would like to in the world of sports right now with the bowl season coming to a close. You've got the national championship game coming up next Monday night, so Oregon and Ohio State. A lot of people didn't give Ohio State very much of an opportunity to be in that game. A lot of people felt like TCU probably deserved to be in there. But Ohio State in that 4th seed proved a lot of people wrong and able to upset Alabama in the Sugar Bowl and move themselves in to a matchup Monday night against Oregon. Real quick, TCU came out and against Ole Miss, and a lot of people felt like they'd have a statement game, and they did.
Well, again, I mean, that's fine if people want to say that game shows TCU should have been there. It's like Colin Cowherd's been saying for 5 weeks now. All right, who are you going to take out? I mean, I think Ohio State proved they need to be in there. You're going to take out Alabama? I mean, they certainly proved they need to be in there. You're going to take out Florida State? They hadn't lost a game in 29 games coming into the game. I mean, it's easy to say after Oregon beat them up pretty good that maybe they weren't as good. But you're going to take out Oregon? I mean, in my opinion, you're judging TCU based on an Ole Miss team without its best receiver who's hurt and another receiver who was also hurt out for the game. So you're gonna judge it based on that. When an Ole Miss team that limps into the game, yeah, I mean they were happy to be there. I'm not trying to make a ton of excuses for them. Old TCU wiped the floor with them. I wouldn't care if they did have Laquan Treadwell. But my point is, look, Colin Cowherd has put this thing best, and I keep bringing his name up because I enjoy listening to him. I know a lot of people don't. But he has said it best. He said, look, everybody's so concerned about making this whole thing as fair as it can be and make sure we don't leave anybody out. He goes, this is not a social issue. This is sports. People get left out all the time. And do you want this thing to be like the NFL playoffs where the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, two teams that were either 5-9-1 or 6-9.
7-8-1 for
well,
Carolina.
they're 7-8-1. Oh, they were 7-8-1 after the game with Atlanta. They were 6-8-1 going into the game with Atlanta. And they are now in the playoffs. They have a shot to win the Super Bowl. I mean, is that what you want in college football? You want teams that are not very good to win the national championship?
Well, I don't think, and again, I think we could sit here for the rest of the show and argue this. And I think that's an unfair comparison for TCU because they are a pretty good football team this year. Carolina, on the flip side, I think the NFL has it wrong because they automatically let the division winners get in there because, again, you look at a Philadelphia Eagles team that won 10 games. You look at some of the other teams that won 10 games that didn't get in the playoffs because they happened to play in a very tough division. Happened to be everybody stunk. In the South Division, the NFC, you got the Saints who were terrible. Tampa Bay is one of the worst teams in the NFL. Carolina and Atlanta were mediocre at best, if you want to call it that. So somebody had to go in. And then, of course, you got other teams. I mean, they hosted an 11-5 team, Luke. They hosted Arizona, who had limped into that spot because they lost their quarterback. So on the flip side of that, I think that, I see your point on the NFL. A losing team getting in the playoffs, it's a little bit of a stretch. But a team that's up there at the top, and I know this, you couldn't have left Florida State out, but probably of the four that should have been left out, and it's funny because they were the one that kept dropping in all the polls. They were the only one that didn't have a loss. They were probably the worst team, and it proved that they were the worst team.
Let's just say this. TCU, again, quit blaming the committee. You gave up a 21-point lead to Baylor. If you had beaten Baylor in that particular game, I don't care if you win the rest of your games by 1 point, TCU'd be in.
I agree
They'd
with
be in that thing, and they have no one to blame but themselves. And everybody keeps talking about this particular year. Go back to 2013. If you had the playoffs in 2013, let's say they started then, what you would have had is Florida State taking on Michigan State, 1-4, and Alabama taking on Auburn. And I don't think there'd have been one soul anywhere that would have said those aren't the four best teams. I think everybody would have said, now, if you had 8 then, you could go all the way to I looked it up, you could go to the 13th place team, and you could have, I guess it'd be 9 teams vying for those other. So, I mean, there's going to be people.
Somebody's going to be left out there, too.
All the time. Keep it at 4. Keep the regular season the best regular season in sports.
I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it'll change anytime soon. I really don't. I mean, and if it changes, it's going to go to, and what I mean by changing, I don't think it's going to change in the next 3 or 4 years. I think after that, I think they'll go with a grace period here. It's supposed to go through like 2021, but I don't think it'll make it that long. I think that you'll see it go to 6 or 8 teams, and I think that'll be the max. I don't think it'll ever get bigger than that. And I think with the Power 5 conferences, they'll give your 5 conference winners, and then you'll have either an at-large team or 3 at-large teams. And if they do it the other way, they'll have the first and second seed get it. And I also have heard this more during this offseason too, and you and I talked about this on the show prior to Christmas break, that you've got to, and they're worried about the bowl. You saw it in bowl attendance this year, outside of the playoffs. It was horrible. These games, 35% full. I mean, look at the Orange Bowl. And you can say it was Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, all you want to, but you think the Orange Bowl enjoyed that? Do you think that the Outback Bowl, which used to be a decent bowl, enjoyed having it 35% capacity? I just think that they're going to have to look at this, because there's a lot of people. There were more Ohio State fans at the Sugar Bowl than there was Alabama fans for one reason. A lot of Alabama fans decided, hey, I'm not going to the Sugar Bowl because we like our chances, and I'd rather go to Dallas. There's just a lot of people out there, majority of the people out there in the free world can't afford to take 2 weeks out of work and take these big trips, and they cost $3 and $4 grand a piece, and go on these. I mean, we knew this. We talked about this last year, Luke, about this would be the drawback of the playoff system. So to correct that, I think the first and second seeded teams, I thought Alabama was the number 1 team in the country. I don't think anybody argued with that. And then the number 2 team in the country was Oregon. Well, both of those teams deserve to play at home the first round, or they deserve to have a bye the first round. You need to reward for winning first or second place, kind of like they do in the NFL playoffs. The top seeds get byes in the first round. And you know what? It's fair for everybody else to get in the playoffs, and nobody can whine. You know why? Because, hey, you made it in. You should have finished first or second if you wanted to buy, or if you wanted an easier road. If not, go out and win your games.
I like the setup now, and I think the reward is that if you finish first or second, you get to play in the region that is closest to you. I think that is a pretty distinct advantage that Florida State went all the way out to the Rose Bowl. And I mean, but look, it's Oregon. It's not like the Rose Bowl is next door to them, but it's better for them than to go to the Sugar Bowl. So, I mean, I get that, and I understand the playing at home thing. I think that's maybe too much of an advantage, especially with 4 teams, especially like 2 versus 3. Last year, it probably would have worked out okay because that had been Alabama playing Auburn, and I think everybody would have said, okay, we're having a rematch in Jordan-Hare. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. But, again, I look at this thing like once you open the door for these type things, I mean, think about the NCAA tournament. Many moons ago, it was, 32 teams? And I bet you when they went to 48 teams, everybody said, well, we ain't going any more than this. Then we're at 64. Then it was like, we can't go any more than that. Well, everybody pitched fit, so we went to 65. Now we're at 68. 68 teams get a chance to play for a national championship. I mean, I don't understand why that isn't more of a joke to people.
I mean, the NCAA tournament is, I don't think, obviously football will never get that big because they can't. I mean, because of the way
But they can get to 16.
I don't think you'll ever get that far.
But see, we always say that. And
but I really don't think that. In basketball, it's different with all these regionals and the way multiple games can be played in a day and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think that in football, especially as high dollar as it is, and with the way the fan stuff is dwindling down. See, like you buy a ticket to a regional, you're there. You get to go in there and see 4 or 5 games at a time. That's not the case. I mean, Florida State fans, let's take a look at it for a minute. They got to uproot and go all the way to California again, and then they have to uproot and go back to Dallas. I mean, that's not an easy trip.
Why couldn't you do the same thing? I mean, again, and I don't want it to happen, but if you had 2 games in the Superdome, you could do that. You could have 2 games in the Georgia Dome. You could have 2 games that day. I mean, it's AstroTurf.
I don't know
if
the cities could have enough to hold the fan bases.
Oh, they'll figure that out.
I mean, think about New Orleans. It's already tough enough to find rooms as it is when, like, you're playing around the New Year's Day area. People to come down for that. Then they come down for the Sugar Bowl, and you got 2 rabid fan bases like Alabama and Ohio State. I don't know how you could have, let's say you stuck Florida State and let's just say Auburn made it in. Say Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, and Florida State are all in New Orleans. Good Lord. I mean, how in the world where's everybody?
They do things for the Olympics like that. They
that's
just got
true.
people on top of people. So, I mean, look, I'm just saying we're going to find a way to screw this up. Y'all just watch. I mean, y'all watch this. That's the famous last words.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. This thing is going to get screwed up.
1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Call in and let us know what you think. I mean, is this playoff system where it needs to be, or does it need to be changed, or everybody hunky-dory just the way it is? We come back, we'll have players of the week from around our local area and the Lake Martin area. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success. With the boat season winding down and the weather getting cooler, it's time to let Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road and Alex City Marine South on Highway 229 winterize your boat for the off-season. The good guys at both Alex City Marine locations can make all your off-season repairs, winterization, and winter storage needs easy and on budget. Don't let the cold winter crack your inboard motor block, and protect your interior with the all-new 360 shrink wrap winter cover. And make sure to see Alex City Marine's new line of Easy Go golf carts, customized any way you want. Service, sales, and value all off-season at the place the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South.
Lee Marketing Group is proud to announce their recent alliance with Baker Street Advertising, based in Opelika, Alabama. Now more than ever, it's important to develop a marketing plan that creates a compelling message, deploys that message, and analyzes metrics to optimize performance. LMG Baker strengthens our mission to help businesses market to their potential. Contact Randy Lee Jr. 256-750-5951 or visit our website, leemarketing.net.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson here with you till 9 o'clock. Give us a call. I like our playoff talk. I mean, I think it's going to be fun to see how it plays. I think you know that. On your side, you really think it's going to get screwed up, and it may do it. I don't know, but I like the talk of it. I think this thing's a work in progress. And who knows, they may all come to an agreement after 3 or 4 years, and we get a more than 1 year sample of this thing, and it turns out that 4 teams.
Well,
is
the
the
ratings
best thing
couldn't have been any better. I mean,
the ratings were out of the roof,
and everybody was happy with that. I think that I enjoyed the setup of the whole day. I mean, it felt like New Year's Day was New Year's Day again. You get up. I don't think there was a game at 10 o'clock, but I think the Auburn game started at 11.
Auburn was at 11, yeah.
And there had been some games start at 10 in the past, but so you watch the Auburn game, you flip back and forth to the Michigan State-Baylor game a little bit because that got interesting. Both those games were hotly contested.
There's one I didn't flip to was Minnesota and Missouri.
No, and that
Good
was
gosh,
a little bit
boy.
of a stinker. I mean, the game actually
Missouri
wasn't
won,
bad
I mean,
for them, but kudos to Missouri for winning, but it's just the game had there was nobody you wanted to see. I mean,
nobody cared.
Can anybody name somebody on Missouri or on Minnesota?
No, nobody cared.
So then you jump right into the playoffs, and I think the game probably went a little long, especially considering Florida State was getting smoked. And then
Alabama's went a little long, I thought. Good Lord. I thought
tell me
that
about
game
it.
never was going to end.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to Players of the Week here in just a minute. One thing I want to go into in the next hour, Luke, we'll have Cameron Blankenship on to talk to him because he's always been a good friend of the show. And looking forward to talking to him about his journey south to South Alabama after playing all of his career so far at UAB and that whole situation, all that. Teams on the rise in the SEC. Obviously, the East went 5-0, and you're right. They played a much weaker schedule than, obviously, on the bowl schedule than the Western Division teams did. But there were some things I saw in some teams that you need to, and I'm talking West and East teams too, and I think you probably already know which ones I'm talking about, that we're going to have to look out for because they're recruiting well. They had a lot of energy. You could tell they wanted to be there. It meant something to them because they hadn't been there in a while. And we'll talk about that more in depth here in just a little bit. But let's go to the Players of the Week, Luke, and we'll start with the AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week.
The AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, brought to you by Russell Building Supply, Russell Do-It Center, was Joy Sadler from Gardendale Basketball, and she led 4 players who scored in double figures with 20 points and 10 rebounds as Gardendale cruised to a 70-29 win at Dora.
Congratulations to her. Let's move over to the Montgomery Area Player of the Week, sponsored by Rudalisa Anderson Cruise Planners. For all your cruise and land trip needs, give them a call, 844-722-6342. Josh Thomas from Montgomery Academy is your Montgomery Area Player of the Week. Scored 25 points to lead Montgomery Academy to a 55-51 win over Brew Tech on Saturday. So congratulations to Josh Thomas.
Now, Hometown Lenders brings to you the Lee County Player of the Week. That's Christian Brandt from Auburn High School. And Christian, I have to assume, is Chris Brandt's son.
Yes.
Has to be.
Yes.
Well, anyway, so he's got some basketball in his blood, no doubt about it. He scored the game winner in a 68-66 win over Smith Station to give head coach Frank Talbert his 700th win. Brandt finished with 13 points and 6 assists for Auburn, which improved to 6-10 on the year. And Chris Brandt, of course, played for Auburn University, and now his son playing at Auburn High School, and to get a 700th win in that kind of dramatic fashion is a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and the Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, sponsored by Lee Marketing Group, is Cassius Culpepper from Benjamin Russell High School. He's part of the wrestling team there, finished in first place in the weight class for 197-pound division, and improved his record to 28-1 on the year at the Scott Rohrer Hoover Invitational this past weekend. So congratulations to Cassius Culpepper for the BRHS wrestling team, improving to 28-1 individual record on the year. Looks like he's going to have a shot in that division to possibly win a state championship. So that's all of our Players of the Week here. If you've got a area of the state that you would like for us to highlight here on Sportz Blitz Live, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, send us a text, send us a tweet out there, friend us on Facebook, and we'd love to get you on board highlighting teams and players in your area of the state of Alabama. We're up against a break, Luke. When we come back, we'll have Cameron Blankenship on, former UAB offensive lineman, now will be finishing his senior year at South Alabama. South Alabama getting an outstanding football player on their team and an immediate injection in their arm over there on the offensive side of the football. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Arctic Air and Heat, located in Jackson Gap on Highway 280. Mr. Darryl Kazai invites you to call him. Now, folks, the cold weather's coming. That's a fact. Now, he is your rain dealer. That's RHEEM. His number is 256-794-4341. That's Darryl Kazai. Ask him about central heating and air. Central heating and air. That's 256-794-4341. Kazaya. Darryl Kazaya.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Lee Marketing Group is proud to announce their recent alliance with Baker Street Advertising, based in Opelika, Alabama. Now more than ever, it's important to develop a marketing plan that creates a compelling message, deploys that message, and analyzes metrics to optimize performance. LMG Baker strengthens our mission to help businesses market to their potential. Contact Randy Lee Jr. 256-750-5951 or visit our website, leemarketing.net.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, everyone, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire, here with you till 9 o'clock. We'll take your calls in the next segment. But at this time, I want to go to the Walton Law Firm hotline and welcome in a good friend of ours, Cameron Blankenship, formerly offensive lineman for the UAB Blazers. Now will be taking his talents, as most athletes say now, south to South Alabama to play for the Jaguars. And Cameron, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Cameron, again, UAB Blazers, what you have, where you started your college career and been part of that for so many years, and obviously the heartbreak and the sadness that was associated with what went on with that program over the last few months. We had you on not too long ago to talk about that. It kind of was talked about. Nobody really ever thought it would go through, and it did. So, but you were blessed with a lot of football talent. We knew a lot of colleges would come calling. You really couldn't say much that night when we had you on, but you were already really looking at several schools, and South Alabama was a school that caught your eye early, and a program that came after you really quickly, and you ended up making a decision to go that route.
Yes, sir. Our offense coordinator from this past year got the OC job down there, and he called me as soon as he got the job and told me that he wanted me to come with him, and they were a heavy favorite to begin with, and it just kind of fit just what I was looking for, and it's not too far from home, and I already know a lot of people down there, so it was really just something that was a good fit for me.
Well, I know you had an opportunity to go down to the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery and watch South Alabama in that game against Bowling Green, and it was a very exciting game. I thought it was a great crowd. You were there. Talk about that game. Obviously, South Alabama lost right there at the very end, but it's the first bowl game in school history. That program definitely on the rise, and I know you'll be looking forward to helping them get back to a bowl game next year.
Oh, that's really what I'm looking forward to. That winning the conference championship. I did get to go to the bowl game, and it was, just good to watch them play because I hadn't watched them play ever. And to finally, I've been to a couple practices of theirs. One on my visit, and then one later that week before the bowl game. But it was good to just watch them, see how they played. I mean, obviously, I know the offense very well, just because it was the offense I played in this entire year. And I got to know Coach Jones. I got to, kind of see how he runs practice and how he does things. And, it just kind of solidified my point in making that I felt I made the right choice.
Cameron, what is it that you saw? Obviously, again, you were able to watch a few practices, and obviously your offensive coordinator at UAB makes that move, so you feel some comfort there and moving down there. What is it that you like about that offense and that excites you the most going into next season?
Well, for me, it's really just it's a very simple offense, but it has its wrinkles. It definitely has its problems that it can give defenses, and I like it. Coach Vincent, the offense coordinator, he likes to go fast. He's a big tempo team and a tempo guy, and I like that. We all like that this past year. We couldn't go fast enough in games. They couldn't get the signal to us fast enough, and just I know he's going to try to bring that same mentality down the South, and that's something I want to play for because I love going fast. I love getting the defenses on their heels, and it was just fun. It was just amazing to see that he's going to do the same thing there as he did with us.
Cameron, again, we look forward to covering you when you go to South Alabama and become part of that program. But I'd be remiss if I didn't get a chance to talk to you a little bit more about the UAB situation. I know that'll leave a scar on you for probably the rest of your life. A lot of those players, Coach Bill Clark, everything that went on up there, and the passion that he had. And have you heard any more on what Coach Bill Clark's going to be doing, and just your thoughts in closing on that program, on what you think that did for that school?
Well, I haven't heard anything very reliable about Coach Clark. I think he's just kind of waiting to see what happens. I haven't talked to him personally since probably 3 or 4 days after we got shut down. I do know that he's spending a lot of time with his family, which I would be too if I was in his situation. But as far as the program goes and what it did to UAB, I think it's definitely going to hurt it more than it's going to help it. I don't know what those people are thinking. As far as if this would help or not, it's not going to be very pretty for UAB. I love that's for the first school I ever went to. UAB always be in my heart, but at the same time, I feel for the students still there. I feel for the athletes still there because not having football is going to take a big chunk out of the economy and the university itself. I'm not trying to say that football is just the God-saving glory of that university, but it's definitely going to have a major impact.
Well, I think you said a mouthful there that this is more than just football. If you're looking at an athletic program as a whole and a conference affiliation, it's going to affect other sports. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we can sit up here and slice it any way we want to, but football drives the bus in most athletic programs, especially with conference affiliation. So going to be interesting to see how that's all handled moving forward. But Cameron, I appreciate you being on tonight. Looking forward to following you at South Alabama. Wish you nothing but the best. Go Jags.
I appreciate it. Go Jags.
Thanks so much. That's Cameron Blankenship, great friend of ours, former Benjamin Russell Wildcat, and now South Alabama Jaguar after spending 3 years at UAB. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
Lee Marketing Group is proud to announce their recent alliance with Baker Street Advertising based in Opelika, Alabama. Now more than ever, it's important to develop a marketing plan that creates a compelling message, deploys that message, and analyzes metrics to optimize performance. LMG Baker strengthens our mission to help businesses market to their potential. Contact Randy Lee Jr. 256-750-5951 or visit our website, leemarketing.net.
With the boat season winding down and the weather getting cooler, it's time to let Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road and Alex City Marine South on Highway 229 winterize your boat for the off-season. The good guys at both Alex City Marine locations can make all your off-season repairs, winterization, and winter storage needs easy and on budget. Don't let the cold winter crack your inboard motor block and protect your interior with the all-new 360 shrink wrap winter cover. And make sure to see Alex City Marine's new line of Easy Go golf carts, customized any way you want. Service, sales, and value all off-season at the place the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884, riverregionsportsfields.com.
Vice Motors in Alex City is going to finish the year strong during Chrysler's Big Finish of 2014. Score big with big-time year-end savings.
Roll Tide, War Eagle, go Wildcats!
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
ViceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Obviously, football fatigue out there for everybody tonight on the phone lines. We know we have a lot of viewers out there, but I guess, look, as much as we pull against one another up here, you pull against Auburn, I pull against Alabama, when one team's not in it, man, it's amazing how it just kills the interest in this state.
Well, it's been a while, and nobody from the SEC either.
That's period. This would have been 8 years in a row, but 5 years, almost 6 years for a team from this state in the national championship game.
And it's amazing, and I don't know that another state, I don't care if it's Texas,
it's never going to happen.
California, if it's going to happen again. And when you think it is like a state like Alabama, then it makes it even more unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But, look, and I know you mentioned it, football fatigue. I think we all kind of may have it right this minute, but we're going to miss it really
I'll miss
quickly.
it next week after
it's
the
not
national
the same.
championship games.
I actually missed it a little bit last night. Just not having Monday night football bothered me. Because that's what you go to bed to on Monday night.
That's exactly right. That's what me and you go to bed to.
Yeah.
Now, necessarily everybody else out there in the world, but you and I do. I agree with you.
And I don't stay up for the final usually unless it's a really good game.
Unless it's the Jets in Miami, and we missed that game when years ago. I cut that off.
But I turned it on ESPN, and tonight they had Arkansas and Georgia. And look, I enjoy basketball. That's what I played coming up. But it didn't have the same. I mean, the crowd's not really into it. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you look at now Kentucky's crowd's into it. Number one, it's a good game. Number two,
they need to be in it right now.
You go to this Auburn Vandy game or the Alabama Texas A&M game. Those two games in Nashville and Tuscaloosa. I mean, they're not going to be full. They're not going to be close to full.
No.
And it takes a little something away from
baseball's
it.
the same way. I mean,
Look, I've never gotten into baseball, and look, baseball had some guys go into the Hall of Fame today, but I don't understand two things that stood out to me. First of all, Randy Johnson not being unanimous, because nobody's ever unanimous in baseball's voting because of some stupid line of thinking, is a joke. I mean, the guy, number one, he was fantastic. He was in a World Series MVP. He was unhittable at times. He hit a bird. How many people have you ever seen hit a bird?
And the bird exploded.
It was. I hope Justin can find that. But I mean, how is a guy like him not unanimous? I don't understand, because some people don't like to think. And there's another rule that you can only vote for 10 people. And they had a baseball pundit on ESPN today saying, "Well, Randy Johnson wasn't on every ballot." And there it is. Man, that is.
That poor bird flew in the. You're talking about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What was that bird looking for?
I don't know, but it was trying to get somewhere, and it literally, you can see
other birds dared
it defeathered the bird.
It's like other birds. Do you call that a ball?
I don't know what you call it. The catchers thought he caught it, and he's like, "What in the world happened?" But that's phenomenal. But I know that ain't what you're talking about.
No, but let me go back to this thing, this rule of 10 or whatever it's called, that you can only vote for 10 guys. So some people who know Randy Johnson's getting in, they're like, "I'll leave him off my ballot because I want to get Alan Trammell in," or whatever. And that's so stupid and so against the spirit of what you're doing here. And it takes away from the accomplishments of a guy like a Randy Johnson. And look, I'm not going to get into a baseball thing, because the whole Pete Rose thing makes me so mad. I mean, you've got everybody else in there practically. You've got womanizers and folks who did all kinds of nefarious things, and you won't put Pete Rose in because he bet on his own team.
Yeah, exactly. You bet on your own team.
You say, if you're gonna bet, bet on yourself. If you can't bet on
about arrogant.
But and I know I'm trivializing it a little bit, but at the same time,
here's what Major League Baseball decided to do. They decided to make an example of one guy, a star in that sport. And here's what the sad thing about that's going to be, Luke, is they're going to award him a Hall of Fame position posthumously.
Yeah.
They're going to wait till he's dead, when he can't see it and he can't be part of it. So really, what's the point? That you can see that coming already, but they've made their decision. But baseball, to me, they screwed up so bad with the steroids and everything else that went on that Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame is really minuscule.
And I know we're getting off here.
Now, let me just name Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Craig Biggio, and John Smoltz, for all you Braves fans, made it into the Hall of Fame today.
And they all should be in. But changing gears here just for a second, speaking of screwing up, Brett, I'm not one to. I hate it when folks come in here and say, "Well, that call cost us the game, and this call did that." No, you always.
The Dallas Cowboys.
And look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. If the NFL wanted Dallas to be in there, well, then Dallas would be in there every year. In the last few years, when they've needed calls or they've needed something to go their way, they hadn't gotten it. So I don't think that because the ratings are awesome no matter what. If the NFL can put Jacksonville against Oakland, and it's going to
still draw
decent
huge
ratings.
That's right.
But what was that?
That was well, first of all, we were all watching it down at my parents' house, and obviously, I don't care for the line, and I think it's better with Dallas in there. So I was kind of like, okay, you kind of view calls based on who you're pulling for. I think but by the rule of the NFL, they missed that. You've got to turn around. In college, you don't. In college, I don't think that's called a pass interference at all, even though there was a little bit of contact. I'm telling you, though, Luke, they blew – first of all, they threw the flag, and then they went and picked it up. What constituted them going to pick that flag up?
They had already announced it.
That's my point. The flag had been thrown, it had already been mentioned, and then all of a sudden they come and pick that up. To me, It's not. It wasn't a good deal. I mean, it was another bad little blurb for the NFL this year.
Yeah, and I
the
think
Ndamukong Suh thing was bad. Obviously, all the stuff in the offseason was bad, and with the elevator and all that kind of stuff, and him beating up on his wife and all that. But then now, a bad call that really was a huge part of that game.
Well, look, I can't stand folks who come in every week, and Alabama's got them and Auburn's got them, folks who just say, well, the officials just didn't. We have to play against that team and the officials. All that's so stupid. I mean, it's just so stupid, because if you're going to rig a game, you'd rig it like the NBA ref who really was rigging games. You rig games that nobody cares about. You don't rig an NFL playoff game
where everybody's
watching. You don't rig Alabama against Auburn. You don't rig that game, because everybody in the world's watching the game. But so really, you have to say it's incompetence, right? I mean, that officiating crew, and I've seen them blame so many things, like they break officiating crews up apparently during the NFL playoffs.
They do.
And sort of get their quote-unquote all-star teams together. Well, but crews get to know one another in officiating, so maybe you should keep those guys together. I don't know what the answer is, and we rarely see a call that bad. I mean, the Tuck rule kind of blew us all the way back in the day.
Why would you break up your crews? Why would you break up your officiating crews? I mean, like you said, they're used to working with each other. They have a chemistry going. I mean, you're really not trying to. I mean, you're really not accomplishing anything by splitting them up, because I mean, where's the bias that? I mean, I don't know.
And there was no conspiracy, in my opinion. I don't think it was fixed. But if I were a Detroit fan, I'd be livid. I mean, there were still, somebody else brought up a great point, there were still 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, sure.
And you could have gone for it. It was 4th and 1. Lord knows if you couldn't get the spot after that bad call. I mean, you were going to get a spot. You know, there's so much in football that's arbitrary anyway. When people give a spot, and we accept it.
Yeah.
You know, when you get a spot, you're like, good spot, bad spot. It's all arbitrary. But that was not arbitrary. I mean, pass interference, you can sometimes say, well, I can see if it was real time, yada, yada, yada. That was just... That was as bad as it goes.
It wasn't very good. We're up against the break. When we come back, Auburn and Alabama Blitz coming up. Also, SEC teams on the rise. I want your opinion heading into 2015. Who you think there are some teams to watch for that haven't quite been at the top of their game here the last few years. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
Check this out, Auburn Opelika. This is Wesley Wilkerson with Hometown Lenders. That's right, Hometown Lenders. We are now located in Auburn at 311 North College Street, Auburn, Alabama. We've been voted the #1 mortgage company in the Wiregrass and the Dothan area 3 years in a row. Now we're located in Auburn, Alabama. We're here to show you every mortgage that's available to help you either save some money or make that new home purchase. We have VA, FHA, conventional, you name it, we got it. Give us a call today at 334-521-8213 or get on our website at htlontheplains.com and fill out the application. We look forward to hearing from you.
Do you need some extra Christmas cash or want a little extra money to start the new year? Onin Staffing is the place to go to help you find that perfect job. We have 25 immediate openings for local shipping and receiving jobs. Computer skills and packing or shipping experience is a plus, but not necessary. Stay local and work with people that make your career fun and exciting. We offer full benefits the day you sign up, so apply in person at our Alexander City office on Cherokee Road or at our Opelika office across from the Lee County Justice Center. Onin Staffing. Our business is people.
Let us help you today. Give us a call at Onin Staffing.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Hi?
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company,
Michael!
their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics, so go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center, offering durable medical equipment, including wheelchairs, oxygen, hospital beds, and more. 256-215-8654.
Welcome back to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS. Discount Tire, about 30 minutes left in tonight's show here in the Bama Blitz segment of our program, sponsored by Bradbury Medical Center, and Bradbury Medical Center been the longtime sponsor of the Auburn Blitz. And, you know, one of the things that you look at Alabama in basketball action tonight, obviously everybody opening up. Right now, Kentucky doing all they can to hold on at home in overtime against Ole Miss. Looks like they might pull it out there, but this was a team that most people think are going to go undefeated in the interconference play, and guess what? Ole Miss comes to your place and takes you into overtime, and probably should have had a chance to win it right there in regulation. But talking Alabama, obviously we've talked about the Sugar Bowl, not the performance that Alabama was hoping to play in that game and win it and move on to play for a national championship. Not going to happen this year. So you look at where Alabama is heading into recruiting. Looks like Alabama obviously going to finish strong again. Your thoughts heading into the 2015 season?
I feel pretty good about 2015. Look, I think we just need to step back and understand that this year will go down in history as an SEC championship year. You get a Biletnikoff winner in Amari Cooper. He's the best wide receiver ever to play at Alabama, in my opinion. Best pure wide receiver at the very least. And you going to have some other guys go pro. Landon Collins will go pro, and he'll be drafted highly. And Cooper obviously will go pro, and he'll be drafted highly. And Yeldon's going to go, in my opinion. Then after that, if the key is going to be Reggie Ragland. You know, will he come back, or will he go on to the NFL? And I think it's probably 50-50 right now. Jaron Reed, he said he would be back for Alabama along the defensive line, and if he comes back, that defensive line for Alabama is going to be pretty salty next year. Defensive backfield, it's going to need to improve, but you know, some of the guys that took their lumps on occasion this year, Eddie Jackson played hurt all year. He's going to be back. He's got all the tools you want. He's got to put it together. Cyrus Jones ended up having a pretty good year, in my opinion. People were picking on him for a while, but he really turned some things around. He had an interception in the national championship game, almost had a pick six in the national championship game as well. Safety is going to be a little bit of a concern. Linebacking core, if Reggie Ragland comes back, I feel very good about the linebacking core. Moving over to the offense, I think the offensive line, there's going to have to be some things moved around, but you got Cam Robinson coming back, and if that's your foundation, you're starting out pretty well. Wide receiver-wise, you lose, again, your best wide receiver ever, so there's definitely going to be a drop-off. There's no denying that. But maybe you can get some contribution out of some of the other guys that didn't get looks because Amari Cooper stole all the looks, and rightfully so. Quarterback, I think Alabama could eventually improve in that arena. I mean, look, Blake Sims, God bless him, and he set records, and I love him. But he was limited in some areas. Yeah. And there were some things Alabama couldn't do because Blake Sims couldn't do them. And so I feel like that could be an improvement down the road because they've got talented guys on the roster. They got Blake Barnett, the best wide receiver best quarterback in the country by some accounts, coming in now.
Well, what about T.J. Yeldon? What's his future?
I think he's gone. I think he'll be okay at the next level. Look, he played very, very hurt. Alabama fans don't appreciate T.J. Yeldon enough. They flat don't. This is a guy that played hurt all the time. He made so many key big plays for Alabama, and he needs to go down and be remembered for the guy that he was, a guy who won 2 SEC titles, a guy who won a national championship, who played in the first ever playoff. He lost a grand total of, 5 games in his career?
Yeah.
I mean, look, T.J. Yeldon deserves all the accolades he can get. He did a fabulous job. You never heard about him in trouble. He's just a good kid, and I think he's kind of a maybe second round, third round kind of guy in terms of the draft. And I feel like some NFL, he's not going to be a superstar at the next level, I don't believe, but he can be a very serviceable running back in their NFL.
That's going to wrap it up for the Alabama Blitz segment of the program. Obviously, Alabama basketball. Before we wrap it up there, let's talk about Alabama basketball. Obviously, in action against Texas A&M right now, opening up conference play. What's your expectations for this team heading into the conference season?
Oh, man, we're in a precarious position, if you ask me. I mean, of course, you want Alabama to go to the dance, and you want them to win as many games as they can. At the same time, I just worry about the program long term. The longer Anthony Grant's there, I'm off the Anthony Grant train completely, totally.
Yeah, you've been off it for a year.
I've been off it longer than that. He's gonna have to show me something to make me want to get back on. And once you get off the train, and I'm not alone, once that happens, you got to really turn it around to get back on it, or because you don't trust him anymore. Sure. I mean, we gave Anthony Grant the benefit of the doubt. I was writing articles when he came to Alabama about how this is kind of like, Nick Saban coming in football. Things are really going to get turned around. Meanwhile, we've only been to one NCAA tournament, and in that particular game against Creighton, it was so poorly coached that it still sticks out in my mind. So I'm worried about it. I'm cheering for him. I'm going to go to some games. Can't wait to be there and pull for him. I'm scared to death about the long-term prospects, though.
So I think severely underachieved would be the term to use right now for Anthony Grant.
Everything's been right there for the taking, too. I mean, Alabama's had the SEC's been down. I think the league just hadn't been as good as we remember it back in, the late 80s, early 90s?
Sure, absolutely.
The chances have been there, and they just hadn't capitalized.
That will wrap it up for the Bama Blitz, sponsored by Bradbury Medical Center. Again, Mike Bradbury and his staff for all your medical needs. Make sure you give them a call today. That's going to do it. When we take a break, we come back, we'll talk about Auburn in the Auburn Blitz segment of the program. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
CTE Small Engines has served East Alabama's lawn and power equipment needs with quality products from Echo, Husqvarna, and Kawasaki. But now, CTE has expanded to serve the entire state with full lines of Titan UTV. CTE Small Engines is Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer with full lines of the Scoot, Sniper, Explorer, and Recon series, featuring hybrid electric and gas combo with up to an 1100cc power package. See Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer, CTE Small Engines in Opelika next to Tigertown off I-85. Or shop our full inventory at ctesmallengines.com.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture and the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs. at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollyshomefurnishings.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by Walton Law Firm right here, and the Auburn Blitz segment of the program, and Walton Law Firm hotline, and Andy Graham, our Auburn Blitz specialist, also host of Sports Call Auburn, on the phone with us now. Andy, thanks for joining the program.
I appreciate it very much. You're one of the few people that ever calls me a specialist.
Oh, well, everybody's got to be special in their own right. How about that? Well, Andy, let's just dive right into the Auburn Blitz here and talk about, obviously, the Outback Bowl. We'll start there first. Obviously disappointing. I was disappointed in the energy, the effort on the field. The play calling was a little bit questionable. The defense got gashed on the run. You know, obviously the running defense wasn't very good at all. If anything, it was terrible. 400 yards given up on the ground to a team that was one-dimensional. We all knew Wisconsin was going to come in and run it 85% of the time. We couldn't stop them, and that's something that Gus Malzahn realized was a problem about 4 games ago. He made the adjustment, went out, hired Will Muschamp. Obviously, Auburn got some even better news this week with T-Rob coming back in the secondary. Your thoughts overall on the way Auburn ended this season at 8-5?
Disappointing, I think, is the best word to describe it. I think you said just a couple of, maybe last week when we were doing Sports Call, you know, really when you think about it, if Auburn beats Texas A&M and Wisconsin, they win 10 games, and they were both certainly in both of those games and certainly easily could have won both of those games. And then how would we feel about the season if Auburn had won 10 games? I know the way Auburn lost these games, and of course losing 4 or 5 down the stretch, that certainly was disheartening. And I think the most disheartening thing about the Outback Bowl to me was the defense. I didn't expect them to play really any better fundamentally, but I did expect hopefully to see some more energy, some more fire, because they might be playing for their jobs next year or playing for a starting position, trying to impress Will Muschamp. It just didn't seem to turn out that way when a team is as one-dimensional as Wisconsin is, and you know exactly what they're going to do, and you tailor your game plan to stop that, and you're helpless to do it. It is frustrating, and Auburn has got to get better defensively next year, really in every facet, but the front seven this year was so ineffective. That is certainly the biggest need for improvement on the defense. If you can't make a team, if a team is going to do one thing against you and you still can't stop it, you know it's coming. Then there's some big problems. I think we've seen that for the past 6 years, and it just hasn't seemed to get any better. Now, Will Muschamp, it's much like the Bruce Pearl hire. If Will Muschamp can't fix it, then I don't expect to ever see good defense again at Auburn University. So I think Jason Caldwell, we talked to him today on Sports Call. Missed opportunities is another way to look at this bowl bowl game. It's a way to look at the entire season. Auburn just missed so many opportunities and left so many things on the field this year. So I think the future is bright. I like what Auburn has coming back offensively. It's just the defense has got to improve.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we've got Andy Graham on the Walton Law Firm hotline here in the Auburn Blitz segment of our program. And Andy, again, Luke and I just talked about T.J. Yeldon and maybe Alabama fans not appreciating T.J. Yeldon as much as they should. On the flip side for Auburn, maybe Nick Marshall's that guy. I don't think people will really appreciate Nick Marshall for what he was and what he was able to accomplish at Auburn. And, in 2 years, he did a lot of tremendous things. Were part of some tremendous plays at Auburn. Obviously, the miracle catch in Jordan-Hare with Ricardo Lewis will be one that obviously he'll etch into history from now on. But he was a guy that did a lot of positive things at a quarterback position where he started off his college career as a defensive back. So really with Gus Malzahn and the offense, the way things are now, to me, Nick Marshall, the further away from Nick Marshall's tenure at Auburn, the more he'll be appreciated, I think.
That's probably true. And having to follow, just in the recent past, Cam Newton, everybody kind of pales in comparison when you look at that. But it's kind of easy for me to look back and think about immediately following Cam Newton and the troubles and the struggles that Auburn went through in 2012. So, I think he is probably underappreciated, much like Trey Mason was. I think more and more we appreciated Mason after he left more than we did while he was playing. So that's going to be a lot having to do with Jeremy Johnson and his success. If Jeremy Johnson comes in and lives up to the what most of us feel like he's capable of, I don't think people, Nick Marshall would kind of be like, Chipper Jones when he left the Braves. It was such the guy did so well afterward, people didn't really think about it as much. But if Jeremy Johnson is able to come in and really take hold of the reins and throw the ball and be the kind of guy, the kind of quarterback, the leader that we all believe he will be, then Nick Marshall won't be missed as much. People won't feel that that there's a void like there to fill.
Andy, recruiting for Auburn, obviously with Will Muschamp and T-Rob coming over from Florida, I think Auburn in the hunt now for some. I mean, we're in the hunt to begin with, but really it's vamped up another notch for Will Muschamp, especially like a Byron Cowart, a Jeffrey Holland, those types of recruits. C.C. Jefferson even in the mix. Those are some top priority guys. Auburn has to recruit well. They got about 6 or 7 slots available in this class. Going to need to fill those with top-notch recruits, and primarily on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it's looking like January 16th is going to be Wildcat Big Cat Weekend, the winter edition. There is an enormous amount of talent that's going to be in Auburn in that weekend, and Auburn has to take advantage of it. This is a good class right now, but it has the potential to be a great class. And especially, like we talked about, defensively, that's where the needs are. An ineffective defensive line, not being able to pursue the quarterback. Byron Cowart is a guy that can come in and be an immediate impact player. 24/7 was reporting that maybe C.C. Jefferson is going to visit on that same weekend. Those two guys, you still a Martez Ivy out there on the offensive line, a Jeffrey Holland. Auburn just offered the number 1 cornerback in the country in Iman Marshall. I think, of course, a lot of this has to do with Will Muschamp and Travarius Robinson. I didn't even realize, that he was rated the number 1 recruiter in the country by ESPN last year. So he brings so much more than just, his tenure at Auburn, being an Auburn man. He's the real deal all the way around. So it'll be very interesting between now and February, signing day in February, if Auburn can bolster this class and how many guys they can bring in that'll be ready to play, be ready to impact the game next year on the field. So a lot of guys out there, like you said, still available, and Auburn definitely has some needs to fill. It'll be wonderful if they can capitalize on some of these.
Absolutely. And a couple quick things. Casanova McKenzie comes out today and says that he will return. Also, Avery Young says he will return along with Chris Frost. I mean, to me, the best thing for all three of those guys, I mean, we've talked about the premature leaving college, going to the NFL kind of syndrome that's been going around college football the last few years, and especially in the SEC because, you know, it is the best conference. You feel like, okay, if I can start on my team in the SEC, I can go to the next level and play in the NFL. And there's such a high percentage last year of early entry draft guys, underclassmen that didn't get drafted and ended up flopping out and don't ever have a career now. So Chris Frost, Casanova McKenzie, and Avery Young are all good players, but to me, we've lost why people leave early to go to the NFL draft. You have got to be a game-changing type guy to leave your junior year to go to the NFL. And I'm sorry, no offense, none of those three guys have been game-changer guys to this point. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't be a game-changer next year, but to this point, I think it would have been a horrible mistake for all three of them to go on to the NFL.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. You know, Avery Young is a guy that I think has potential to be an NFL player and, you know, to have a decent career in the NFL. I haven't really seen anything from Casanova McKenzie or Chris Frost that leads me to believe either of them could have an NFL career right now, much less a good one. So I'm not sure. I understand the idea of wanting to, you know, put your name out there to get an evaluation just to kind of see where you need to improve this year. But I think it's good that they've all, you know, come back for them. I think linebacker play has lacked at Auburn for a couple of years now. So I'm not sure. To be quite honest, I'm not sure it would have mattered if both of them left or not. But I guess you do have a lot of experience leaving. But it's a lot of tackles. I just haven't really been impressed overall with their play.
Well, Andy, before I let you go, obviously Auburn basketball enters conference play. They had a winning streak going right now, but down at Vanderbilt currently, 31-13, actually 33-17 now, with about 3 minutes to go in the first half. So the woes of going on the road in the SEC, it's already tough enough. This is a team that's trying to build. Bruce Pearl's trying to build this into a team that is competitive and is an NCAA tournament team. Don't think we'll quite see it this year, though.
I believe Auburn has not gone on the road in an opener for SEC play and won since 1984. So it's been a while, and there's a reason for that. It's difficult to win on the road, especially in Vanderbilt. Auburn has always struggled up there in Memorial, and they're getting, you know, typically, and it's not hard to understand, they're getting killed inside, and they're getting out-rebounded, getting killed by points in the paint. So, you know, as long as that's the case, you know, Vanderbilt's going to continue to try to exploit that, and Auburn's just unable to deal with that size right now.
Well, Andy, a lot of good stuff there. You and I will be on Sports Call tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you being on the program.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. That's Andy Graham, host of Sports Call Auburn. And, again, you can tune that in 4 to 6 every afternoon on 93.9 FM out of Auburn, or go on our Twitter page, Sports Call AU, and click on the link, and you can find us there each and every day, Monday through Friday. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Lee Marketing Group is proud to announce their recent alliance with Baker Street Advertising based in Opelika, Alabama. Now more than ever, it's important to develop a marketing plan that creates a compelling message, deploys that message, and analyzes metrics to optimize performance. LMG Baker strengthens our mission to help businesses market to their potential. Contact Randy Lee Jr. 256-750-5951 or visit our website, leemarketing.net.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
When it comes to health care, Russell Medical Center has always been my choice. When my doctor recommended I have my procedure there, I knew it was the right decision. He knows the kind of expertise, quality, and care I've come to expect. When surgery was necessary, I knew I would be in good hands, and it felt comfortable being treated in a facility so close to home.
Russell Medical Center, your health, your community, your hospital.
Let me tell you about Satterfields. Check out the beautiful showroom at Satterfields on Highway 280 in Alexander City. They have a great selection of outdoor grilling lines for your entertainment needs. Name brands like Big Green Egg, Lynx, Blaze, and Saber are just a few. Also, lawn equipment by Shindawa, Echo, and Husqvarna. Power tools by Makita, and a great line of Carhartt clothing. All of this in one location, Satterfields on Highway 280 in Alexander City. Stop by and visit them today. Satterfield.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
Last segment of the program, a few minutes left tonight. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, been a great show, some great guests on tonight. A couple quick hitters to end the program. Manny Diaz hired back at Mississippi State as the defense coordinator.
Right.
Second time.
Just interesting. Look, if you just hang around, everybody's going to get recycled in the SEC.
That's the way it normally happens.
I mean, Cheese Harbison, who just got let go from Auburn, who, by the way, is going to make $1 million a year not to coach. He has been at just about every location there is, hasn't he?
You can't feel sorry for these guys that get tossed.
Let me tell you what I said.
Money. I mean, they don't have to do anything.
Hey, this is meant as no offense, but Auburn reminds me of one of those families in West Virginia that wins the lottery, and then like 5 years later they're broke because we just got all this money in from the SEC network, all these schools did, and Auburn's so busy paying it out to ex-coaches, they're going to run out.
Probably already out. Florida actually doesn't hire anybody. They hired a bunch, but we won't talk about that yet. Quarterback Jeff Driscoll from Florida transferring to La Tech. So Manny Diaz leaves La Tech to go to Mississippi State. In Florida's Jeff Driscoll goes to La Tech as a quarterback.
It gives him an opportunity to throw interceptions in a whole other conference. I think that's great.
Josh Heupel fired as the OC at Oklahoma. Really, anybody shocked there?
I think Bob Stoops at his press conference today said, hey, y'all remember we beat Alabama last year, right?
Exactly. Gene Chizik to North Carolina. Defensive coordinator.
That's the best move so far I've heard of your four.
In which way?
I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you, he's not a bad defensive coordinator. At least he wasn't. I mean, he's been out of the game for a little bit now, and so maybe he slipped. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you, it's one of those Alabama hired Lane Kiffin as offensive coordinator moves in a way. I mean, it could be a marriage made in heaven, and it could be fun and exceed all expectations, or it could be a crash and burn.
Speaking of ex-Auburn coaches, Texas Tech hires David Gibbs as their defensive coordinator. So we still paying him? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you were around, how long ago was he at Auburn?
Auburn I think he was he right before or after Muschamp with Tommy Tuberville? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Anyway,
it's hard to.
Anyway, he was there at some point in time. We've tried a bunch over on the defensive side of the ball. Will Muschamp really is the only one that's worked out, and he's back now, so maybe will happen again. SEC teams on the rise. I'm going to tell you, I know it was Iowa, but I was impressed with Tennessee.
Well, let me say this. Everybody had a come apart earlier this year saying Alabama got all these easy draws and they get to play Tennessee every year. Who wants to play Tennessee next year?
Nobody.
Raise your hand.
Nobody.
Who wants to play them? I'm telling you.
Who wants to play Arkansas next year?
Who wants to play? Alabama's got to go to Georgia next year. And that's a team with Nick Chubb. They could have the best running back in the country. And if it's not Leonard Fournette, who Alabama and Auburn both have to play. Alabama and Auburn both have to play Nick Chubb and Leonard Fournette. I mean, that's
congratulations. And anyway, that's kind of a little quick hitter around. But Arkansas, Tennessee seem to be the teams that I'm watching. I mean, they've been down.
And Auburn they both get to play Arkansas.
That's right, and we've beat up on them for so many years now, and now it's not quite so funny. About 45 seconds, playoffs this coming week. Any upsets?
No, I'm pulling for Green Bay, though. I think it'd be a shame now that Dallas has gotten that call. I mean, for them to win it all, because we will never hear the end of it. So I'm kind of hoping Green Bay win. I mean, I'm a Green Bay guy because of Lacey and anyway. But I like Aaron Rodgers, but I would hate for Dallas to win it all, and then we have to see that replay over and over again.
It's going to wrap it up here on Sports Blitz Live again every Tuesday night right here. You can catch us 7 to 9. We'll be back on the air Saturday morning from 10 to noon with Saturday Sports Countdown. For Luke Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we enjoyed it. We hope you did. See you next week.
Check this out, Auburn Opelika. This is Wesley Wilkerson with Hometown Lenders. That's right, Hometown Lenders. We are now located in Auburn at 311 North College Street, Auburn, Alabama. We've been voted the #1 mortgage company in the Wiregrass and the Dothan area 3 years in a row. Now we're located in Auburn, Alabama. We're here to show you every mortgage that's available to help you either save some money or make that new home purchase. We have VA, FHA, conventional, you name it, we got it. Give us a call today at 334-521-8213 or get on our website at htlontheplains.com and fill out the application. We look forward to hearing from you.
DHK Tire and Lube in Dadeville has everything your car needs to keep you rolling. Tires, oil changes, brakes, and most mechanic work. DHK Tire and Lube can have you in and out in no time without busting your budget. Conveniently located at 321 East South Street in Dadeville, DHK Tire and Lube is a locally owned and operated company that keeps you and your car's best interest at heart. Stop by today or call 256-307-7276. That's DHK Tire and Lube in Dadeville.
Auburn Urgent Care, located on South College in Auburn and on Enterprise Drive at Opelika near Tigertown, offers convenient solutions to your healthcare and occupational medicine needs. We offer workman's compensation injury care, and we have a certified DOT medical examiner on staff. It's not about speed, it's about the quality of care. We're open 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekends in Auburn, and 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday in Opelika. Walk-ins are welcome. Auburn Urgent Care. 334-821-3221 in Auburn or 334-749-9191 in Opelika. Visit us online at auburnurgentcare.com. Proud of our past, confident in our future. And for your primary health care needs, visit Family Health Clinic at 1456 Opelika Road in Auburn. 334-826-8951. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due. It's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band. She needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm. He needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City has delivered new Fords for 35 years. Need fuel efficiency with style? See the best selection of 13 Ford Fusions delivering 38 mpg in a new stylish package. Check out the Hybrid C Max crossover now on the lot, offering roomy comfort with an amazing 47 mpg rating highway and city.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to welcome you to our dealership and experience our low-pressure sales. With non-commissioned salespeople, our sales force is here to serve you.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford, Highway 280, Alex City. If we don't have it, we'll get it, guaranteed.